Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about the time that I was in the dream world and I ran into a bull entity, which I believe is actually a quote unquote god, a deity. Okay, so I'm gonna actually start this one off like the second week of December because there's a really important event that happened the second week of December that set this whole thing into motion. Now, along with that, I think it's very interesting because I've been writing down my dreams religiously since COVID. Not only still have like October 2022 to now, but I have been writing them down since like literally right before COVID, like 2019, like maybe November 2019 or something like that. And there was like a lot of things going on that led into COVID. It was a whole thing. But anyways, and writing these dreams down, it's not just the dreams. I also write down like things that come to me randomly. Like I'll give an example today. What was something I saw today? And I'm like, oh, that's coming back around. There was something I saw today and I was like, oh, that's coming back around. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to think about it because I forgot what it was. But anyways, so sometimes I write things down that like leave some type of mental impression. Like sometimes you look at it and you're like, I feel like this is significant. Oh, like I'll give an example. Like this is not the one I was thinking about, but like yesterday out of nowhere, I started singing that Mariah Carey song. Why you so obsessed with me, boy? And I like when I tell you that's like the most like when I tell you how random it is so random. I'm like literally, I just caught myself singing it, and I'm like, okay. Now I don't even know like if she was intimate with that person, was not intimate with that person. Like it wasn't something else on my mind, but it was like a really big song at some point in the 2000s, I think. And so I'm like, okay, interesting. That song is coming up. Now, whenever that song comes up again, I know that it's something that was going on around the time when I first heard it, and it's like circling back around. So I wrote that like Mariah Carey, Why You So Obsessed With Me song is coming up. Anyways, so that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. So in the second week of December, I'm pretty sure that this was like on the 9th. Okay. I was on YouTube and there was a particular person that stood out to me with a video. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit of discretion here, just because I'm talking about real people in real life. So I'm going to use discretion in the people that I'm talking about, right? Because I can only talk about like my aspect of it, and I don't want to like, you know what I'm saying, like talk about other people. Especially like if I haven't talked to them. Like I have cousins and I'm like, hey, can I talk about this? And like they're fine with that. Friends, they're fine with that, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so anyways, so on this particular day, which I'm pretty sure was the 9th, I found this video and I clicked on it and I just felt like, oh, there's something here. Now we're going to call this woman PM, okay? PM. I'm going to call her PM, okay? And so I get to PM's channel and she is giving this reading and I'm just like, oh, I feel like this is going to be like really relevant. I should really, sit there. Now, the interesting thing was that before I got onto her channel, I was literally like having the idea of like, there's certain things in life that you shouldn't speak on, right? Like I'm using some discretion. There are certain things that you shouldn't necessarily speak on until an appropriate time. And even when it is an appropriate time, there's a specific way that you should talk about it with specific people. There are different groups of people. There are people who you can be free with, you can talk with, and things like that. That's a very small group of people where you can be totally unfiltered. Certain people, there are reasons to be filtered, right? And right now, in this moment, I'm being filtered because I don't know everyone that's going to listen to this. And just how my life works, how my husband's life works, how my friends' lives work, it's not an impossible idea to think that at some point, it's possible that I could have conversations with different people, right? Because they're in life, I'm in life, and just how the reality works is just wild sometimes. So anyways, that would be things that I would like to talk to people about in person or, over the phone or whatever, and be like, oh my gosh, yes, because I had this dream about you like 2 years ago, and it's crazy that we're talking now, blah, 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 blah. And like to have that level of like permission of using their name. Do you know what I'm saying? In it. But anyways, okay. So I was literally thinking about like, there's certain things that you shouldn't talk about. So in this, it was like a tarot reading. And in this reading, she was like, some of you have significant past lives and your ancestors do not want you to talk about certain aspects of your past lives. There are certain things, she literally was saying, she was like, there are certain things that you should not mention to everyone, that you should keep to yourself. And she said, and she was like going on, and she mentioned Crowley, which is significant, and like a few other things, and then even mentioned things that I felt were very personal to me. I'm not going to get into like the specifics of it, but like personal to me. Now, I don't think that like she was only talking about me, right? And that's the interesting thing about life, because there are plenty of people that can have similar experiences going on. But I knew that this message was definitely intended for me as well. Okay, as well. Not the only one, as well. Okay, so anyway, she's going on and she's talking, and she was like, she said that, she was like, the devil wants your son. She was like, somebody has not your first, not your second, but your third child. You have a third son. Or this is your third child, something like that. She was like, the devil wants him. And so protect your child. Okay. And so I'm like, interesting. That's interesting. Now, I am not super into certain concepts of like the devil and like the Christian sense and things like that. Do I believe that there are devilish spirits? Of course. Do I believe that there are nefarious adversarial spirits? Of course. And I'm just saying that because when I heard her say that, I was like, there's so many entities that could be seen as a devilish energy. So let me like kind of sit on it and see what I feel like it's talking about. Now, the interesting thing is that not too long after that, within the same week, I'm pretty sure, I ended up having this experience of a, how do you say it? Like a mantis with leucism, like an albino mantis, literally come into my office. Like it's a whole situation. It was whole. And actually, I think it was either the 12th, because I was just talking in the other video about 12/12. And I totally forgot this connection, because there was like a new moon in Sagittarius, I believe. I think it was a new moon in Sagittarius. If it wasn't a full moon in Gemini, I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, there's like this whole thing with this mantis that came into the house, and I was trying to feed it. We were trying to give it watermelon and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it ended up passing away. So I'm like, okay. Now, I always like to pay attention when animals, bugs, and stuff like that are like passing away in the house. I always like to pay attention to that. It's like a whole thing sometimes, like black beetles. And this was the first time I've seen a mantis. And there was only one other time, was it earlier this year or the end of last year, that I saw another mantis. I've only seen 2 mantises since I've been to Arizona. So this was, do you know what I'm saying? It's not like I see mantises all the time. And if I have another experience with the mantis, I will definitely let you know. Now, 2 physical mantises, okay? Because I have had experiences with the mantis beings. That's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation. Okay, so that's a whole other conversation that I can't even get into right now, okay? So anyway, so this mantis showed up. I had it like in a box. I made sure it had some air. I was giving it some food, and I brought it inside because I put it back outside, and then it kind of like fell over. And I didn't know if it was sleeping, because I read somewhere that they like sleep kind of funny, and it seems like they're falling over, but they're fine. I don't know. I saw that like on a thread or something somewhere. And so I'm like, okay, because then someone was like, oh, it could be appearing tan because it recently shed its skin or something, which That's a Mandela effect, because I don't remember mantises being able to shed skin. There's also some other insect or something that also sheds its skin now, and I'm like, this is a Mandela effect. Okay, but that's not the point. But I don't know. Do you remember that? Because I don't ever remember them saying that mantises could shed their skin. I don't know. I don't know, friend. But anyways, I'm starting to get really cold. Okay. So this mantis, I ended up putting him outside because I'm like, oh, okay, he might be fine. He's just asleep. I don't know. It sounded like amazing. Oh, I just saw a little flash or something. Okay, well, I guess we have other energies listening to the story, which is fine, but don't come in here acting a fool. Sometimes they like to come in and acting a fool, child. Anyways, so I put him outside. Unfortunately, I went back out there and he wasn't alive anymore. I'm like, oh, snap. Now, the interesting thing, and I can't remember this either, and I'll probably go to the comments or like in the description, I'll put like the actual dates for these things. But not too long after that, I ended up having this crazy dream. Of the mantis coming back alive, and I was like sleeping in my room. Now the crazy thing is I was sleeping in my room, and like the kids were up and stuff like that, and like I was telling them, I was like really tired this excuse me, I was really tired this day, and I was telling them, like whenever this TV show is off, everybody go to sleep, mom is really tired, blah 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 blah. Now the room that I particularly sleep in is like right by the door, so like I knew that, like if somebody tried to sneak out or whatever, I mean, they're young kids, but, just kids being busy, that I would hear them. So they were, like, safe, even though I was resting. And I don't usually do that, but I felt exhausted. But now it makes sense. So anyways, I'm, like, sleeping in the bed, and I'm, like, really tired. I'm sleeping. I'm closing my eyes, stuff like that. And then, like, I wake up, and I'm waking up, like, in the room. Now, I wasn't projecting. I was in, like, another aspect of reality or something. I don't want to get into like the distinctions, because then like I'm gonna take up a whole lot of time with that. Look, 12. But anyways, I woke up and the mantis had like flew back into the house, and it was like angry, and I was like, oh, somebody sent this mantis. Like somebody sent it. Somebody was like trying to bug me. Somebody sent this mantis. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. Yeah, so like that's weird. So it was like trying to kind of, I don't know if it was trying to attack me or something like that. I don't know. It was kind of giving weird vibes, but like it was like flying erratically, and it looked very upset. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you need something? Like what were you looking for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So anyways, I'm like, okay, let me like close the door, because I'm like, just have the office, so like I'm like running out and I'm trying to close the door or whatever, and the mantis gets out, and then the next thing I know, there is this literal hovering hand, which has also been coming up recently, right? Like the Four of Cups, if you know about tarot, the Four of Cups, there's what was I calling it, the not manifested hand, but it is like that. What is that word that we use with the hands? And like it's not a hidden hand, it's like I don't know, it's like a hovering hand. And I was actually talking to a friend about this either last week or the week before, about that story. That story was Cyrus the Great, in that story where this like hand appeared out of, oh yeah, that's what it was. We were I was singing that Stevie Wonder. Now, was he in my dream? I feel like something recently about Stevie Wonder is like coming to my mind right now. I don't know if I dreamed about him recently or something like that. But anyways, writing on the walls. And that's what a friend and I were talking about, writing on the walls. And she has these connections to like Balthazar. Like she knows someone that's got a connection to Balthazar. And I'm like, oh yeah, because that's connected to a lot of stuff. But also in this Bible story, which I'm pretty sure is about Cyrus, freeing the Jews to go back to their homeland from Babylonian captivity. And there's like this disembodied hand that appears and starts scribbling things on the walls. And I was saying the Four of Cups because in that image of the Four of Cups, it's the person sitting under the tree and they've got these 3 spilled cups, and then there's this disembodied hand that's trying to offer them another cup. And I usually use that as like the ancestors are trying to get a message through. And because there are things going on in 3D that you can't necessarily see like the brighter side, you're not looking at what the ancestors, the guides, usually ancestors are offering. That's the Four of Cups. So there's this disembodied hand that is puppeteering, because it went from like an actual mantis to like looking like a mantis, what do you call it? Like a mantis stuffed animal toy, and it had strings on it. And there was a disembodied hand that was making it appear to like be alive and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, somebody's being really tricky. I'm like, okay, so, but anyways, like I grabbed the mantis stuffed animal and I like threw it on the ground, and I was like hitting the hand, and it was like coming for my son, I do have a 3rd son, coming for my son. I'm like, what in the world? So I'm like beating up the hand. I'm like, absolutely not. And I didn't know, because I couldn't tell, right? Because it's just the hands. I didn't know like everything else. And I'm like, oh no, absolutely not. And so I actually manifested it to go to an island for people that mess with children, like that they're all on like one island with each other instead of connected to kids. Because something about it, I don't necessarily know that they were trying to do something weird with him, but just in case, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you really in here trying to like break through all of this stuff to like get to my child? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just doing the most. Like, you're doing the absolute most, and better safe than sorry. So that's what I like manifest. I'm like, this hand and whoever's attached to it needs to go on this island for these people that do weird things, and they need to be like ostracized from society. That was like my thought. And then I woke up and I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's odd, but it's not the strangest thing. That's why I'm laughing. Like, I'm not laughing like out of pain. I'm just like laughing out of how ridiculous life is. It's not the weirdest thing that I've experienced. So I'm like, that's odd. So then fast forward to where the bull entity comes in. Okay. Now there were so many weird dreams during just December. I mean, October was wild. November was wild, but December definitely took the cake. So there are a few dreams in between that I'll talk about like at another time. But this one was, I won't say by far, because the ones after were pretty crazy too. But this one I was like, oh, okay, there's definitely an entity involved. Because I couldn't tell like with the hand, was it like a person? Do you know what I'm saying? Was it an entity? What it was? Like, who is it? What is it? I couldn't tell because I just saw the hand. And it was a little bit bigger than a human hand. But it was also wearing like a glove, so I couldn't really, you feel what I'm saying? I couldn't really get like a really good sense on it. But I could definitely feel the hand within the glove. And I was like, So this dream actually happened on the 17th, okay? On the 17th, 12/17. So like the 16th going into the 17th, okay? So I'm in the astrals and I'm talking to someone, okay? And this is a person that I don't really know them like super personally. Like, we have a familiarity with each other. Like, we know of each other. But it's not like a person that I talk to all the time and things like that. Like, I don't know the ins and outs of their life. They don't know the ins and outs of my life. But we have an awareness of each other, okay? And so I'm talking to this person, and we are talking about something, and I'm laughing, right? And you know, like sometimes like you're laughing at something, but then you have to really see like if the other person is like laughing. So it was like there was some type of joke made, and I was like really laughing. And I felt like the purpose of it was for me to really be laughing and not pay attention, like to build up a certain comfort level with something. Does that make sense? So I'm like really laughing, but then I'm looking at this person's face, and their face doesn't look like they're really laughing. Like, they're laughing, but it's like not the same level of they find it funny because there's something else on their mind. So I'm like, that's odd. So anyways, we're laughing and blah, 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 blah. And the next thing I notice is that as I'm laughing, we're also playing double dutch. Now, I don't know how we started playing double dutch because I'm not even good at double dutch. But in the astral, baby, I not killing it. I was having a great time and I was doing really good at double dutch. We were double dutching, okay? And like we're both in the middle, like playing double dutch with our feet. And then I started actually paying attention to these ropes, okay? And it wasn't actually ropes. It was literally like strings of consciousness and awareness. I don't know, but it was strings of consciousness and awareness, and we were jumping through these strings in consciousness of awareness. Some of them were mine, some of them were for the other person. And I'm like, wait, why are we playing double dutch? Now, as we're jumping through these different ropes and things like that, trying to avoid stepping on them, I noticed that this person is actually peering into like my thought strings. And they're actually, follow me on this, okay? They're trying to find something in the strings that is like a memory of me saying yes to something that I didn't actually want to say yes to. Okay? Follow what I'm saying. They're looking for a memory in my past of me saying yes to something that I didn't actually want to say yes to. And they wanted to use that memory as an overlay to influence me now because they're asking for something that I'm not willing to give. And so as I'm figuring this out, I'm like, I'm absolutely not going to do that. What's the question? And at this point, I'm kind of irritated because I'm like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm pretty aware. And so it's actually offensive to a certain degree. Like, I'm not super offended, but do you know what I'm saying? When people make like offensive actions, right? Like I was listening to the story of this couple that wanted to buy this house, and the agent that was showing them messed up the deal at the very last moment. When they were looking at the house, kind of looking at the finals of it. And I guess maybe they were trying to see, because there were furniture in there that was staged. And I guess they wanted to kind of see what the final cost would be if they decided to add in the furniture. And the person says to them like, oh, you guys can't afford that. Now the house is already multi-millions. But the person was like, oh, you guys can't afford that. Now, in whatever context or whatever, right, that is an offensive thing to say. And it's not just about like, oh, he thinks we're broke. It's just like rude and unnecessary. So it's kind of like that feeling, like, not that like I was like super offended. I'm just like, okay. So anyways, we're still double dutching. I'm like, yeah, you can ask the question, because no, I'm not going to let you try to overlay a memory of me saying yes to influence me to say yes to something that I'm probably not going to go for. Now, the other interesting thing was that through him doing that, I was also able to see that he was also looking into the future of that. Look, I promise you, he was also looking into the future that like at the point that he would get in trouble for this, at the point that he would get in trouble for this, like this moment right here of influencing me to say yes to something I actually don't want to say yes to, he was actually figuring out how he was going to like wiggle out of the consequences of this. So I thought that was very interesting, because he was very aware that this was like going to cause like some negative karma, right? And obviously that's going to cause negative karma, whatever it is at this point, because at this point I didn't know what it was, okay? And so I'm like, yeah, what is it? Now, at this point, he's kind of like not really saying anything. He's still kind of doing like this weird kind of like jokerish kind of grin. And so I'm like, okay. And my thought was like, I don't think I'm going to get a real answer from this. And so I'm like, I need to be looking elsewhere. And I started looking elsewhere, like just kind of like in thought, like not seriously looking elsewhere, like I need to go somewhere. Like literally, I'm like, I need to be looking elsewhere. And I just like shifted my face. Then I started to see this bull entity. Child, the bull entity was behind a gate. The bull entity was behind like a kind of gate, like a cemetery looking gate. And I'm like, who is that? Who is that? and it was this bull entity. Now, it looked a lot like, and I think I actually went to go watch like some of American Horror Story Coven after this. I'm not exactly sure, but it looked like Bastian, right? Sebastian. There's a whole thing with Saint Sebastian and the Loas. It's a whole thing with Saint Sebastian and the Loas. But I'm like, this looks like Bastian. Now, I watched American Horror Story Coven, I can't remember when, but I think it was like before we even left New Orleans, like right before we left, because I went to go look at Lalaurie Mansion, like maybe a week or two before we left. And I remember when I was watching that TV show, that I was thinking that like why I wanted to go look at the Lalaurie Mansion was because when she was like doing all those weird things with Bastian, right, which was the slave, and she would put the bull costume on him, the bull head on him, like with blood and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, they're doing like rituals. These are like sacrificing rituals. So I wanted to go look at the door to see like what influences, and of course, who do they have on there is the green god. That's a whole other conversation on how some of these European tribes and things like that used to handle different stuff. And yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyways, so I'm like, he looks like Bastian. But this was like a fusion though. So he did have like a male body, but he did have a bull head though. And he had these white kind of like ivory horns. Now I know that ivory is elephant tusk, but that's what it looked like, a similar material, kind of like that ivory, alabaster, kind of chalky kind of texture to like these horns, and they were white, but he was all black. And even though his body was a man, I knew that he was like an all black bull. Now I was like yelling at him, and I'm like, you definitely cannot have my son, because that's what he started telling me, that he wanted my son, right? And that's what the tarot reading has said, that there's the devil and the devil wants your child, right? And in American Horror Story, right, one of the witches is trying to do, she's actually crossed up in a very bad deal with, is it Papa Legba? Let me double check. Let me just double check. American. Is it Papa Legba? Yeah, it is Papa Legba. Okay. Yeah, and it says, as a demonic gatekeeper to the spiritual world, or the voodoo Satan, he controls intersections between life and hell. Okay. So basically he was like, yeah, I want your son. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I feel like this is really good to know, because I was actually on someone's page yesterday, and they were talking about how sometimes in the spirit, and they were like doing this funny thing, but I'm like summarizing that, like in the spirit, some people get asked to go to the underworld. And I was explaining to this person who saw my comment and was like, explain this, like, how do you go to the underworld? And I was telling them, like, sometimes you get invited, sometimes you get pulled there, but don't work with every single spirit. So this is something that I told the spirit, which I would offer as a means of figuring out what energies you're going to work with and which ones you're not. What I told the spirit was that you've not been here the whole time that I've had this child. Not when I was pregnant, not when I was literally up dealing with his night terrors, which could have to do with this energy. Okay, with this energy, okay? You were not here helping me out with raising this child. So the audacity to ask me for him is crazy. Now, I'm not about to give up his sovereignty to any being anyway. But I'm like, but that's absolutely crazy. It's like a stranger off the street being like, let me have your kid because I'm famous. What? Absolutely not. So I would just offer that, okay? Don't let these entities and energies have your kids. That's bananas. Yeah, and I think I'm going to end it there, and I will come with more things, maybe on this subject, but also on different things soon. Okay, bye.